Today, I'm going to talk about green flags in relationships. These are a few signs that the person is healthy to be in a relationship with. And of course, I am not just talking about our romantic relationships or our intimate relationships. I'm talking about relationships with our friends and with our family. We so frequently talk about red flags or warning signs. So today, I'm going to share some concrete signs that the person is actually safe and trustworthy to build a relationship. Before I go into these signs, I want to acknowledge no one is perfect. All humans have flaws. So we can't expect everyone to have all of these traits all of the time. What I want you to think about is, does the person show up in these ways more often than not? So say around 60 or 70% of the time. You might even think about some of the people that you're in relationship with when I go through these signs and see if you see these already in your relationship. The first sign is transparency, or really simply openness. This is someone who shares their perspective, their emotions, their intentions. They don't hide their actions. They're not defensive. They're not secretive. And they don't shut down to certain topics. They're also not oversharing. They're an open book in areas that are important. And now I know a lot of you know what it feels like to have that gut feeling when we know someone's lying to us or they're hiding something. On the other hand, when someone is transparent or open, we feel the opposite. We feel safe. We feel like we don't have to be on guard. The second sign is consideration. Simply the ability to take others' thoughts and emotions or their perspective into account. When we share things with this person, we feel like we're really being listened to and that they're interested in our perspective or in our experience of things. When someone considers us, we know that we matter to them, that they value us in their life. They're taking us into consideration. The third sign is their actions match their words. More importantly, even their values. Another word for this is really simply integrity. And now I know all of us have been around someone who says one thing and does another thing. The more consistently this happens, if this happens over and over and over again, we feel unsafe. We might even feel uncomfortable around this person. And that's understandable because when people aren't predictable or aren't consistent, it's really hard to trust them. On the other hand, when people's words match their actions, or simply when they do what they say, and when we know that they're acting in ways that align with their values, maybe even our values, we're able to feel safer and secure with them. The fourth sign is flexibility. This is someone who has a willingness to compromise. It doesn't always have to be their way. A rigid or inflexible person is someone who typically has a high need to control the environment, control other people. And this often comes out as them being really opinionated or maybe giving unsolicited advice, even being judgmental or critical. On the other hand, when someone is flexible, they can have more empathy for you because they're not trying to control you. They're able to accept how you are, maybe even understand how you are. And that's a really good feeling. The fifth sign is they respect your boundaries or your limits. They're able to hear, try to understand, and ultimately, most importantly, they're able to accept another person's boundaries or limits. So for example, say you share with someone that you feel uncomfortable or maybe unsafe based on something that they've said or that they've done, and they listen. They try to understand your discomfort and they honor your request or your limit. Instead of saying something like, oh, it's not a big deal, or maybe changing the subject, or worse, laughing at the situation. When someone hears us and accepts our limits as they are without questioning them, without trying to talk us out of them, or without ignoring them altogether, it creates the foundation for trust and security in the relationship. The sixth sign is they don't try to one-up you. One-upping is being in competition with, trying to win. And this could look as simple as you share with someone that maybe you say, I didn't have a good day. And you immediately hear back, well, my day was worse. Let me tell you about it. Or maybe you're celebrating an accomplishment. You're saying something that you're excited about. And the person immediately brings it back to something that they've done. When someone can't hold space for what we're sharing with them and brings the conversation back to themselves or celebrates themselves in some way, it makes us feel really invalidated, sometimes even shut down. When someone doesn't one up us, feels like they're listening to us, feels like they're supporting us, whether it's in our bad mood or in our celebration. Support is so important in relationships. So, all of these are green flags. When you find people who have these traits, you want to invest in these relationships. Most importantly, you want to start to practice these traits, cultivate these aspects of yourself. Because the more you embody these green flags, the more you'll attract people who also have them, giving you the opportunity to create safer and more secure relationships. Now, I want to hear from you. What is your most important green flag? Leave it in the comments below.